When can or when should a stay-at-home mom engage help? That's what we are talking about in today's video. It's actually a response to a question by one of us, and I'm thankful for that question, and that's why I began by working on last week's video. And if you haven't seen it, you can go check it out, because I thought that's the video that I should do first before I actually do this one. It's actually a video on the whole question of mission, the fact that a stay-at-home mom needs to know her mission, because that will definitely define what she will do. And that has a lot to do with today's video that I trust will be a blessing to you. Please join me. Welcome to Formations of a Noble Woman. This is a channel where we share matters womanhood and the woman really seeking the mind of God concerning the same, so that you and I can align our lives to His will and purpose. And if you're new here, kindly consider subscribing. Hit the notification bell. You'll be notified every time I upload new content. So before we get into the actual content, we will pray, as is always our custom, because I always trust that the Lord would speak to you and me as we go through this. Indeed, Father, that's my prayer, that you will speak to me and speak to my viewer, and just be glorified as you bring about what you have purposed in our lives as we continue to reflect on this topic and every other aspect of our lives as stay-at-home moms, as women, that we will glorify you in Jesus' name. Amen. In a past video on this channel, and if you're interested, I can link it in the description, I have shared the myths that surround the whole issue of moms choosing to stay at home. And one of those myths is actually that a stay-at-home mom is lazy and idle. She really doesn't have much to do. When we now come and start talking about having extra help for the stay-at-home mom, now it seems in the eyes of everyone we are actually going overboard, because if you don't have something to do, then how can you engage help? But of course, like I said in that video, that is not true. Stay-at-home moms have a lot to do, and when they come home, it doesn't mean that they will just stay and do nothing. There is so much to be done, and that's why I'm sharing these reasons why you as a stay-at-home mom might need to engage help, or should actually engage help. And the first reason is you will engage help because you have so much to accomplish, too much on your hands, so that you find that you're not able to accomplish your goals as you ought. Because remember, when we talk about mission, we are saying that we will break that mission down into sizable bite-sized goals that you can accomplish on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a yearly basis. So perhaps you have an income generating activity and it's taking up a lot of your time. What if you engage someone to help you, to relieve you of some of the work, perhaps the house chores, and we will talk about that also in the second point, so that you're able to focus much more on that income generating activity at home. So you will find yourself in such a case, as the Lord enables you, you may engage help for that, so that you're free to accomplish a lot more. And that takes us to our second point. We have those chores as stay-at-home moms that we consider delegatable chores, so that I can delegate certain chores in order to handle my major responsibilities in their order of priority. For example, housework, washing dishes, especially when children are small and perhaps you're not at the stage where I might be, where I'm also trying to train them. Chores, you may want to have somebody come, even if it's a full-time person who will help, or a person who comes maybe twice or thrice a week, like I personally do, so that you can focus on your responsibilities. Some of us are homeschooling our children right now, and I know some of us will engage help so that we are free to be able to homeschool, especially when you're working with the foundations and you really have to focus and concentrate. You will find yourself seeking help so that you can effectively homeschool. So that's also another reason why you will find yourself engaging help, to be available for your children, including in training them, to be available for a spouse when they need you, so that if they are working outside the home and they come in the evening, they won't find you thoroughly exhausted and unable to minister to them in any way. So that's why we are saying from those 2 points, you will find yourself engaging help. The third reason why you might find yourself seeking help, the Lord has called us to make disciples. The Lord has called us to engage with people at different stages of their lives, and you will find yourself, I'm not saying this is always the case, but you may just find yourself needing to help a young girl because you don't want to give them finances directly, but you want them to work so that as you pay them, quote unquote, you are actually helping them. And so you will have them come to help you in the house, whether it's in the neighborhood or they come to stay full time and they know this is the arrangement. Help me as you grow in discipleship. Help me as we trust the Lord that our lives will model the faith before you. And I know a lot of women who have done that, engaging a girl for the sake of helping them to grow, for the sake of meeting a need that they have. And like we are saying, you don't want to just give out handouts. You want them to also have the joy of knowing that I've worked for this, that I'm sending perhaps to my home to help my family, or I am supporting myself by working. Remember, we get a lot of fulfillment as we work, even as we see from the scriptures, rather than just receiving help like that. And so you will find yourself in such a circumstance where you're helping someone, but in the process, they are also ministering to you by what they are doing, and they are being trained the value of work. And the next one is you will indeed find yourself, and personally I found myself in such a situation, in seasons where you are just tired, exhausted, and for some reason your energy levels are very low. Could be you have been unwell, could be also that it's just a season where you engaged a lot, even in ministry, and you're just tired and you need help. You need to rest, you need to rejuvenate. And so that's a season you will find yourself engaging help so that you can be more fruitful. Just a season that you need for rest, and you will find yourself engaging a lot more of a person who can help you so that you can be restored, physically, spiritually, mentally. Then you can be of even more effective ministry to others. So you will find yourself as a stay-at-home mom getting to those seasons. I remember one time when we were newly married. In our second year, our daughter was born, and now I was managing the housework. I was managing her. I was just exhausted. And I remember an older woman telling us, my husband and I, that we need to engage help. Fairly newly married, and you're thinking, I can manage everything by myself, including what we were doing with young people. And you just find you are exhausted. You can't manage. You can't keep up. You will find yourself needing to engage help so that you can minister to your family as you ought, and some of the work is lifted off your shoulders. So that's one other way that a stay-at-home mom can manage through a season before she comes back and is able to continue with her usual work. As a stay-at-home mom, you will also find yourself needing help when you're engaged in a special project. For example, you might be engaged in a writing project, or you just find you're building up perhaps your business in some way for a particular season, and you can tell, unless I concentrate, I will not make it very far. I know right now I am working on a writing project, and I can tell you it's taking me so long because I'm doing a lot of the things that we need to do, but I'm thankful for the help of someone who helps us a little. But you can imagine if I could engage a lot more help, perhaps I would move faster with that writing project. And so you will find that as the Lord provides, you will find yourself needing help in such a season so that you can manage, handle the project, and then get back to your usual activities. The other time you might actually need help as a stay-at-home mom is when you have a season, for example, when you have just guests that you will invite to your home, or guests that are coming, and you find that you can't manage unless you have some help. And I'm saying this because I tend to be a person who likes to do things by myself. I like my food to be cooked in a certain way, and the Lord had to teach me to release those rights. And I'm thankful also, as my daughter is growing older and she's learning to cook, I am having to let go of my wanting things in a certain way, because work can actually weigh you down. The guests come and you find you're struggling to handle them. You're so exhausted because you're doing everything by yourself. What of if you engage help? And I'm thankful my husband helps me in this a lot. Like recently when we had guests and he had suggestions of people who could help us in the neighborhood, and they actually were very helpful in handling a lot of the work. So could be for a season or could be for a day, and you engage help so that you're able to manage through the day and be even more fruitful. So that's also another point where, as a stay-at-home mom, you will find yourself engaging help so that you're able to manage and at least keep yourself sober in order to handle the situation before you and to handle your family as you ought. And this last one, I kept wondering whether it's part of one of the points I did, but let me just say it, that you may find yourself engaging help so that you can train the younger generation how to do housework and how to do it even professionally, how to do it so that as they grow up themselves, they will manage their households well. It's interesting that a lot of the women who have engaged in housework, especially after high school, you know, in our country, or even because they were needy and they went to a certain family and they were helped, you actually find there's a lot of difference in how they handle their own households because they went through some kind of training in being house helps in somebody's home, and especially when they are full-time. I say this also because personally, when I completed high school and my mother, I could see she was struggling with house helps now that she was working, I just told her, this season you don't have to get a house help. I will actually take up the responsibilities. And I remember our youngest sister was actually under 5 years old at the time. And I can tell you a lot of the skills I learned, how to cook, perfecting my cooking of chapati, for example, and others of the foods I did. Some of them, of course, are on the other channel of recipes and hospitality with Clara. And then taking care of my younger sister, you know, being there for her, learning how to take care of a young child. That was such wonderful preparation for myself now that I stayed single for a longer time in my own hospitality, and it was also very vital for me when I got married and I was managing my own household. So that I would say it may look like a weird point, and yet the truth is a lot of girls are being trained chores, especially in our generation, being trained how to cook. And when you take it as ministry, like I've said in a previous point, if you take it as upon yourself to know that you might actually be the one who is training this girl. You may not know it, but the Lord is using you to train this girl or young girl in their chores. You are actually sharpening their skills in housekeeping, in keeping a home, and they will therefore end up glorifying the Lord by how they manage. And most of the time, these girls will do it the way you did it. It may seem like, am I doing anything? But they will follow your example in the same. So I hope that those 7 points have answered the question of my friend who asked, and also a question you might be having really on whether as a stay-at-home mom you need help. And I'll link below a video that was part of Proverbs 31 Womanhood series that I did on this channel, where I talked about specifically how to handle a house help. And I pray that that would also be a blessing. So please check it out. So thank you for joining me in today's video. I trust that it has been a blessing. So look out for our next video. Again, another delightful one that I pray will be a blessing as well. And until that next video, of course, you're welcome to check out this playlist right here that I trust would be a blessing also as we reflect on matters concerning the stay-at-home mom and that stay-at-home mom life. And until that next video, bye.